Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations. Check it out. The fine folks over at OTOFIX were kind enough to send me a scan tool. They wanted me to check this out on the channel. I'm happy to do so. They say they're the same manufacturer of Autel, which is an interesting piece of information I didn't know. So hopefully the systems are similar. I can tell you that this is a more budget-friendly scan tool than the Autel line of tools. And I've been pretty happy with Autel. There's been one or two products they've come out with I think they could have improved on before releasing, but for the most part I'd say they're pretty decent tools. So anyway, I'm going to get the camera closer in. We're going to unbox this thing. We're going to hook it up to my, we'll hook it up to the 21 Mitsubishi Mirage that we have here right now, and we'll go through and see what we can and can't do with it. Well, let's do it. All right, so let's take a look at what we got in the kit. And first things first, I love the fact that it is wireless Bluetooth. And this one also has a flashlight to help you find the port. There's the funniest video out there about guys, reaching up under the dash trying to find the port, and there's like a hand that comes and blocks them, every time they go looking for it. I felt that pain before, so I get it. It does have that. It also has a USB-C connection here, so maybe it's for updates, maybe it's for just hardwired connections. I'm not sure yet, but we'll get into that in a bit. This is kind of unusual. I've never seen this before. It is a USB-C to USB 3.0, but it also is a LAN adapter. And I'm not sure why you would need a LAN adapter, but maybe if you didn't have Wi-Fi where you were and you wanted to update this tool, you could hardwire it into a LAN line. So that's really cool. And then a really nice long USB to USB-C cable and the power plug for that. So that's to charge the unit. And then the main unit is right here. And there it is, very thin. Does come with a quick reference guide as well, and a packaging list. Very small, very thin. Like that's, I would say 7-inch maybe, yeah, 7-inch tablet sized. Wow. I'm not sure if I expected anything, but I'd say this is slightly thinner, slightly smaller than I expected. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just a thing. Looks like we have some hidden ports. Yes, we do. So an SD card and 2 USB, which is really nice to have, actually, transferring pictures and videos off of the scan tool if you're doing freeze frame stuff. And then a power on button. On the back, OTOFIX D1 lite, advanced auto. We do have a camera and we do have a flash back here, and looks like it's got vented ports for heat. So that's interesting. The only thing I'm not seeing on this that I would have loved to have had, I like the little kickstand that lets you hang it onto a steering wheel. It doesn't appear to have come with that. Go ahead and turn this on. Nice splash screen. Color combo on this reminds me of Halloween. Orange and black. It's reminding me of pumpkins, which we're getting. Yeah, we're not too far off from that. All right, tablet starting up. Here we are. And it looks like we do have, oh, well, it's already loading into the program there. We'll accept that. Oh, it really wants you to read it. Yeah, this is looking exactly like Autel. So Maxi Viewer, I mean, right down to it. This is an Autel software. So that is really cool. All right, so it wants me to go ahead, and I'll do that off camera, but I'm going to go ahead and get the internet working on this so we can register it. And then we'll get back and we'll walk through the software before heading out to a car. Okay, well here we are in the car. I haven't done all the updates on it, so if it's not exactly the freshest version, I can accept that. Do have it hooked up to the VCI. Let me get into some of these other things before we get into the car. So log, we can start doing data logging. We can monitor. And our VCI setting it's hooked up right now. Remote desktop, if you want to use tech support and have someone literally take a look at the tool via remote, that's how you get into that. User center is kind of cool. I probably won't let me log in. Yeah, I've got to log in for that, so we won't mess with that right now. But Autel User Center is kind of like OTOFIX Lite. It's an opportunity for you to talk about what fixed cars. It's an opportunity for you to talk about what's going on with tools. So that's kind of cool. User feedback is exactly what it sounds like. If you run into a problem with this tool, if there's a software glitch that they're not aware of, that's the way to make them aware of it. OEM authorization, this is pretty cool. Right now there's nothing listed because I'm not trying to do anything. But if you were going to attempt to do programming with an Autel tool or an OTOFIX tool, this is the way to get in there if you're going to buy software or whatnot. Quick links, not sure what that is. Probably Autel links. Yeah, we have, yeah, that's pretty cool. So Identifix is there. You'll have a direct link to that. You can log in with your stuff. OTOFIX apparently has its own thing. All Data, we have that. We have Mitchell On Demand at work. I use All Data here at the house. Never heard of that one. Haynes Pro is another, like, you know, inline. So they really do have a pretty good IATN, which I think got bought out, didn't they? But yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That's something I don't think I've seen anymore. All right, and then on the main drag, when you come up on this, you're going to have your update. This is where you review these two areas here. You're going to review data that you've recorded. VCI Manager, I've already linked mine. There is a battery test included in this, but it's another module you have to buy. So what I do want to go into here, we got service, and we're going to use metric for right now, obviously English language. You can do printing. We can report to the cloud, and we can automatically do that. We can definitely have notifications, which is weird. Auto updates, probably not a bad idea. Vehicle list of stuff we've worked on. Battery tests. Auto VIN setup, laws and regulations, system settings, so that gets into the Android system that's below this, and we can take a quick look at that as well. So it looks like a 64 gig of storage on this, which is not a small amount by any means. The tablet is a D1 Lite. Android version is 9.0. Give you an idea of that. Some people are really into those numbers. All right, and then we can get into service. Let's take a look at what they have here. So I'll go through these with you real quick. Oil light, electric parking brake, tire pressure sensor, battery monitoring or battery matching service, brake bleed, after treatment for diesel, immobilizer key programming. That's cool. Injector coating, steering angle sensor, suspension resets, throttle learn, window and roof reinitialization, seat reinitialization, odometer. If we're going to mess with the odometer, there it is. Language change, headlamp, change tire size, TEC learn, ABS/SRS, cylinder balance test or relearn. I don't know, I think it's turbo, I can't remember, it's like turbo wastegate relearn, speed and PTO, clutch, trans adaptation, airbag reset, air fuel, automatic start stop, electric water pump start, EGR, VIN. Oh my gosh, this has tons of stuff, doesn't it? Resets, transport mode, high voltage battery work, accessories, AC, rain light sensors, reset control, if you want to do a real hard reset, automatic climate control, relative compression, that must be a diesel one, I'm not familiar with that one. Taking your battery on and offline, coolant charge, sunroof initialization, oh my gosh, and camshaft learning. That's a lot. I would say this tool, that they're kind of putting this at the budget market, but that's no joke. That is a lot of stuff that you can get into. And we'll go into diagnostics, and let's see if we can auto find the car. Auto detect, and we're going to load that program. And there it is. We got it. So we're going to hit OK. And there it is. Mitsubishi Mirage 2021. This one does not have a CVT. It is a manual transmission. Correct car. And we have a variety of things here. So we have diagnostics, hot functions, and vehicle profile. Let's take a look at the vehicle profile. Just brings us back there. Here's what we got, right? Most of the time, people have asked me on previous videos, where do I find the odometer readings or how to reset it? Well, clearly they're in the hot functions on this particular tool. Most of the time under vehicle profile, we'll give you a mileage or kilometer reading, and then it's up to you to figure out if that's accurate with what's on your dash. Hot functions on this, you can see the ones that are, there's quite a few here. Not all of these are going to work. This doesn't have start, stop, and all the rest. So some of these are not actually activated, but we do have an oil light that's on in this car. And you can see it. It's hopefully you can see that, the little wrench there, right? All right, so we'll go down here and we will do an oil reset. And there it is. It's reset. Now, and that's it. All right, we'll exit out of that. And escape out of there. And we'll escape out of there. And we're going to get into diagnose. And we can do an auto scan. Now the car is running, so I'm not sure if it'll catch every one of them, but it's really hot out, so I've got the AC on today. All right, it's going to look through and see what it does and doesn't have. And it's going to give us like a health report. Now there's no check engine on this car, so the only thing it might come up with would be a seatbelt code or a occupant detection system. Well, we do have some TPMS codes on, and we'll see what the air conditioner says. So there's a bunch of stuff it thinks is wrong. Now, again, like if you're a tech, you know better. You know better. You know that a lot of this stuff is just like hasn't been driven. If you start a car in the shop and you're running these tests and you haven't actually rolled, a lot of times it gets upset about a variety of things. So always a grain of salt with any of these tests. All right, let's take a look at the meter failure. What's going on there? And we'll hit read codes. And so it says it had a code for occupant, I think that's occupant detection module, CAN timeout. So there was an issue, right? And then you can press that little button there, and it's going to show a freeze frame. That's what that little thing is. 32 kilometers. I'd say we're well past that. It has about 32,000. So it kept that data all that time. That's crazy. All right, so we'll bail out of that. And we'll get out of that. If you want to reset it, you can go in there and erase it. And let's take a look at meter special function, right? So through the meter, right, this is the combo meter, we have oil reset, turn signal sound customization, seatbelt reminder. My wife does not like to have that thing dinging on her, so let's see if we can turn that off. Right, pattern 1, pattern 2. I'm not sure which is which. Well, actually, I am sure, because I have the car running and it's not dinging at me. We'll switch it to that and see what happens. There we go. So we do have the ability with this scan tool to change. It's bidirectional. We have the ability to change things in here. So let's get out of there. And I don't know what kind of test we have. Oh, we could have an instrument cluster test where it's going to do a gauge sweep. I don't know if it's going to want to do that while the car is running, though. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because the car is running. I don't want to screw with anything. But you could do a gauge sweep test, which is nice. And there we go. All right, so let's escape out of that one. Live data, we can take a look here. And so let's say I want to... let's say I wanted to check to see the odometer, right? That's in kilometers right now. But if I had to switch that to mileage, it would match up perfectly with the actual mileage on this vehicle. Gas gauge reading inaccurately, we could check that with this. So that's pretty darn cool. And that's in an obscure system. You know, people don't often have issues with their combination meters on these modern cars. All right, let's take a look at the tire pressure sensors. There is a tire pressure light on. This car has a slow air leak. We just top it off every couple of months. I'm curious what the codes are, though. Now, I mean, it's saying they're all low at some point or another. And so you go into freeze frame there, and it might show all of them. Or it'll probably show, yeah, you know, yeah, look at how far back it's holding these, right? It's 26,000 miles, car has 32,000. And it's just saying, hey, it was low at that point. So these are all history codes, but there's just a bunch of them in here. And a lot of this stuff, when it comes to history codes, things will happen for like 1 second and then never happen again. So you can't really, you got to take all that stuff with a grain of salt there, a grain of sand. Let's see what kind of special functions. Okay, so we can register a new ID. We can check the sensor. So that's cool. And then we do have live data here. We'll get into that. Okay, and I didn't switch it over to US, but it's giving us KPA, and you can see they're actually pretty darn close. One's way higher than the rest, but that's not too bad. No tire pressure sensor in the spare tire on this car. And there you go. Temperature of the tires, how cold it's ever been, which was pretty cold. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, this thing has it all. All right, let's get into the main system. I know, like, I like to dig into these side systems because your real diagnostics usually happens and stuff like that. But let's get into our main computer here. All right, so let's take a look at special functions for the motor. And we can reset learned values. We have, you know, mode 0, which we could get into and look at raw PIDs, which mode 6 is the same. I don't really know about that. Evap leak, learned value resets again, starter counter initialization, and timing chain maintenance. We're hopefully never have to do any of those things, but they're there. And yeah, that's it for that. Active test, obviously I can't activate anything right now, the vehicle running, but I can cut off an injector. I can turn on and off the fuel pump, purge control solenoid, radiator fan on and off, radiator fan high on and off. I can vary the ignition, vent solenoid, AC relay, and oil control valve. So if you are looking at an issue with any of those things, this is the way to check it, right? Let's see, I don't know, am I getting fuel? It says it has a full tank. Well, I could check the combination meter in the scan tool, and if it looks like it's verified, I can manually activate that pump and hear if I'm listening, do I hear it? If I hear it, great. If I don't, well, there's your problem. Cooling fans, we don't want a vehicle to overheat. Those things are always going bad. All right, let's bail out of that. And then live data, let's go in here. We'll wrap this video up with how fast the responses are on those live data, which is really what makes or breaks a good scan tool. If they're really, really slow responses, it's not as helpful when you're trying to diagnose a problem, because if it shows after the event has happened, it gets kind of weird, you know? All right, so let's see. I don't want to screw around too much in this thing, but we'll find some that are running. All right, we have injector milliseconds. We'll highlight that. And you can even see right here, you know, the speed that they're moving around is acceptable. I've had scan tools that even when it's a single PID, they move slower than that. So let's take a look at short-term fuel trim. And throttle actuator. Okay, we're going to look at that. And then we're going to hit show selected. All right. And we're going to rev it up and let it go a few times. And the responses, mainly I'm looking at throttle because that's the quickest thing that's going to change when I press the gas. And it is. I mean, it's pretty fast. Now, this does also have, we can change that if we want to see it, you know. You see that moving up and down. You can also switch it around to, you know, back to the way it was, or you can go with a bar graph. It's doing very well. Yeah, I'm happy with the speed of this. And let's see, what's our last choice here? Oh, this kind of a graph. My old boss back in the 80s, man, he loved to see that kind of a graph. When scan tools first started coming out, he knew all that stuff back in the day. Now I'm getting to be back in the day. That's crazy. Life goes on, my friends. Awesome. All right. I could file a report here, and I enter in the event, or I enter in the odometer, I enter in the technician. We'll give it something. We'll see what comes. And status report, right? It's going to tell us, here it is, here's all our stuff, here's what we found. And you can report that to the cloud. License plate number, and you even have the ability with the license plate number or VIN number to take the camera and scan that, right? So there's stuff to have right there. Well, let's get out of that. All right, let's get out of that program. Let's go back to home, and let's take a look at the underneath, right? So we do have Chrome. You can get into OS settings, File Explorer, Maxi Tools, OTOFIX. We have an email program. Looking at photos, right? There's nothing here right now, but that's, yeah. Calendar, clock, and let's get into camera. We'll see if we can find anything here. Yeah, we want to allow it. And there we go. So that's actually a really nice, yeah, that's a good quality camera. I like that. That's nice. And we have a flash that's currently set to auto, timer, and yeah, I like it. Okay, so we'll get out of that. Now, what I don't see on here, and I wish that more of these manufacturers would start allowing this, is I don't see the Play Store. Now, I know they put that in there because this is their software, this is their stuff. You get into a Play Store and the program gets corrupted by a malware or whatnot, and then suddenly, you know, people are complaining that the tool is no good. But here's why I think they should include it, is that, you know, I use Shopware to issue stuff to techs at the job I work at in town, and you know, that's all tablet-based inspections and reports, and so you could use this scan tool as a tablet to work on cars, and that would be a great feature. But because it's locked, you can still be done. But I'm not a genius, and I'm not by any means, especially when it comes to computers. And side-loading an app into something like this is a real hassle. So while I understand why they do it, it's kind of a bummer that they do it. You know, does that make sense? It does come with a calculator as well, which is nice. All right, cool. Well, first of all, I would say I am pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure. When I took this out of the box and saw how small it was and light it was, I was worried that it wasn't going to be full-featured. It is full-featured. You can operate items, you know, bidirectional control, and you can do some programming, as you saw with me changing the way the seatbelt light reacts when I'm driving. And there's other initializations that it can do as well. There's obviously a ton of resets for your modern car that requires computer interaction. It's got it. So I really do like that. And the fact that it's the familiar Autel software underneath, I mean, this is a 100% Autel software. Maxi Tools, Maxi DOS. I mean, it is what it is here. It's pretty interesting that it's exactly what you come to expect. Then I'm pleased. I really am pleased. I'll leave a link to where you can get this. I do appreciate it. This company sent this to me. They didn't charge me for this, but I wouldn't review a product if I thought it sucked, or if it sucked, I would tell you. This product doesn't suck. That's it for today, my friends. Till next time, take care.